Good morning and welcome back to Morning Coffee. I'm Charlene Chamberlain and I'm here with my co-host, show host. What do you call me?
Showco.
Showco. I guess I'll call you my Showco. Mr. Keith Reynolds. And we're here with our regular Friday morning guest now, Kristin Battestella. Welcome back to Morning Coffee. Nice
Welcome
to see
back.
you again.
Mm-hmm. You know, we had a week break, so to kind of get some of these good reviews together.
Mm-hmm. Well, we actually had a crew request to talk about vampires.
Yes,
That's
we
right.
did.
Yes,
So
we did.
we have a lot of stuff.
So
we
it's the
can talk
vampire
about.
show.
The Vampire Day on Friday afternoon,
Yeah.
the middle of July.
Why
Okay.
not?
That's
It's
okay.
hot, you know.
True Blood, it was in
Yeah.
Louisiana.
Yeah,
There
so,
you go.
exactly.
Stay in style.
Interview with a
Steamy.
Vampire.
That's
Yeah.
right. It was one of my
That's
favorite
all right.
shows.
Yeah.
So what do we got?
Well, actually, surprisingly, one of the shows that's coming back, making a little bit of buzz again, is Dark Shadows.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
I love this
We
show.
love
I
the
watched
show.
it as a kid. Now, what did you think of the Johnny Depp movie? Did you see
I didn't
it?
care for it. A lot of
Neither did
folks
I.
who like the old school ones.
I know.
I mean, the original show is hokey. That's why it is still a
That's
little
why
family
we
fun.
love it.
But it did have some serious literary kind of based little value to it.
It
It
did.
did have some spooky fun
Yes.
and an atmosphere, even if the sets were falling over.
Right,
And,
I know.
Yeah. So I don't know, an outright kind of fish out of water comedy kind of
Yeah.
missed the mark. And actually, one of the new DigiNet networks, Decades, their sort of sister channel to MeTV, they showed a Dark Shadows binge during their soft launch. And there's a lot of folks actually on their Facebook pages. There's a fan group called the Collinsport Society that are writing the network now that they want Dark Shadows back on the air all the time.
It should be back.
Absolutely.
It was so
It was good.
fun.
I mean, we watched it. Just
We
that Johnny,
used
Johnny Depp is an excellent actor.
He
I mean,
is.
it just to pull that off. You know, that was every week.
Well,
so
it
it
was
was
like
Right.
1,200 plus episodes.
yeah,
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
a little hard to pull that one off.
We would rush home from school
to
and
watch
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, my mother
Yeah.
loved it. This little set actually is just the condensed kind of 3 hours of the
Okay.
group of the vampire storyline, and they did their own couple movies here, which actually just came out on Blu-ray, which is
House
nice.
of Dark
They
Shadows.
have
Yes.
something like 40 of these individual little DVD
Which one
collection
is this?
sets.
Okay.
I actually like the
Wow.
Werewolf Quentin.
Yes, I know. He
So,
was great.
There's a bunch of those different little sets.
Yeah.
So I started with like collection 11. But there's a brand new big huge box set actually, which I brought a little VHS tape. We're going way
Wow,
back now.
what
I
the
used to
heck
tape
are
it off
those?
TV. Remember?
Scariest moments from
Yeah,
Dark
the
Shadows.
little,
Is that
exclusive-
Angelique on the front?
Yeah, Laura Parker
Yeah.
there. She was up at Monster Mania with Kathleen Lee
Yes.
Scott. That was nice. They did a whole box set with all these little oddball kind of bloopers and treasures and extra stuff. The set's a little
Oh, how
pricey,
fun.
and if you're already collecting a lot
You
of the
might
big
as well
stuff,
get it,
you know, you
yeah.
have to upgrade. So, which is quite cool. And I spent a lot of time actually writing about Dark Shadows on horroraddicts.net. We talk about that a lot, so that's a lot of fun.
Very
Nice
cool.
to have fellow vampire folks about, right? I also, if people don't like the old school stuff, because some people might not, kids might laugh at the little hokey.
I know, but I
do.
love it, and that's what the charm is about it. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles, you
Yeah,
know?
but kids don't understand that.
No, they
nowadays.
don't.
That's true.
They
Yeah.
don't.
But I mean, I think that's the thing. I mean, we laugh at vampires, but there is a whole range. It's not just the kind of sparkly kind of things.
No, it's not. I
You know.
love the old Bela Lugosi movies, and you know.
Lugosi, yeah, we spent a lot of time already talking about Bela Lugosi and Christopher Lee, and Hammer just came out with a bunch of new sets as well. Well, they have their Countess Dracula and the Vampire Lovers. You put the kids to bed for some of the old
Right.
movies, but the Ingrid Pitt films are really nice, and that's based on the Carmilla vampire story, which predates Bram Stoker's Dracula. So
Really?
it's a little
Okay.
female vampire.
Ooh.
Fun.
That's
But I
interesting.
actually love this little movie, Only Lovers Left Alive.
Oh,
This
I don't
is
know
actually
that. Who was in
a
that?
recent movie, 2013. It's Tilda Swinton and Tom Hiddleston. Actually, we're going to be talking about Marvel in the future, some comic books and blockbusters happening in the summer. He plays Loki in the Marvel movies, and they're vampires. And it's directed by Jim Jarmusch. And
Jim Jarmusch is
Jim
a
Jarmusch,
great
yeah.
director.
And it's a very stylish, sophisticated kind of movie. You know, they're vampires, but it's what would you do with that kind of immortality? You know, science and art. And surprisingly, the movie is also incredibly funny. I mean, there's a
Oh,
lot
I'll
of
have to
great
check
little
this out.
moments. You know,
Have you
it's
seen this?
Netflix available. Dark Shadows. You can also get all Netflix.
Yeah,
Hulu.
that's why I see it on Netflix.
I liked that one. I was really impressed with it.
Now this is on Netflix as well?
Yeah.
Only Lovers Left Alive.
I'll have to
I
check that
remember
one
that.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I spent some time talking about this on horroraddicts.net, actually, for people who don't want to read all the stuff. House of Dark Shadows, Night of Dark Shadows, they also did audio dramas that go along with them. And horroraddicts.net, when we're doing the podcast, you can listen to some of the vampire fiction and us talking about some of the shows, and we were talking about Only Lovers Left Alive. So
Great.
it's a nice way that sometimes, you know, people don't want to necessarily watch. They can nowadays
Tune in and
hear,
listen.
listen to what they're doing, which is pretty cool.
Interesting.
Interesting. I can keep going.
I'm a big, I'm not kidding you, since I think my favorite one was, and I think we talked about this, it was the kid, and actually, was it that someone that just passed away was on that one? The kid that where he first bite was the first.
My best friend is a
My
vampire.
best friend is a vampire. So ever since then, and then Buffy the Vampire
Yeah,
I
Slayer.
love Buffy.
It seems
Love
like
Buffy.
there was. Now we're in that, I guess, post-sparkly phase. But for a while, it seemed like everything was comedy. Once Bitten, do you remember that one?
Yeah,
Jim
well,
Carrey.
Jim Carrey,
You know, there was a
right.
lot. Well, Elvira's not really a vampire, but
Well,
you know, that
but
kind of
she's
that
got
spooky
that.
kind of tongue-in-cheek kind of humor. Like,
Right.
but the Lost Boys, I think, is kind of
Yeah.
The
heavy,
Lost Boys
but
was
it's
really,
great.
that was a good movie,
Yeah.
but it was heavy. But you know what? Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back as we're talking about vampires.
In a world where bankers have lost all interest, where robots and fat cats rule our fortunes, one woman will stand up and strive to do the impossible. Be treated like a person. Friends and neighbors will join her quest. Ordinary people will band together against the forces of corporate greed. And together they will form Philadelphia Federal Credit Union, already in a neighborhood near you.
Imagine the finest hand-selected USDA prime steak you'll ever have. The freshest line-caught seafood, our Wine Spectator award-winning wine list, and soul-satisfying desserts. Bring that together with the perfect date, the winning business deal, a memorable family celebration. Welcome to Rod's Steak and Seafood Grill in nearby Morristown, New Jersey. Bring your appetite and feed your passion.
Your credit score is yours, and at Experian Credit Expert, we want to help you really use it. With access to helpful Experian experts over the phone and online, we can help you use it to get a better idea of what info the banks have on you. Use it to get more choice of mortgages. Use it to make your money go further. Take the next step to improving your financial future with your free 30-day trial at Experian.co.uk.
Here at Freppy's Tex-Mex, you can definitely taste the freshness in our food. You should definitely come to Freppy's because it's a great place. You can bring your family, very kid-friendly. All my servers are amazing, friendly people. Everyone here is just happy to serve, and I think it shows. The thing that sets us apart is the quality and freshness of our food. And I think once you try it, you'd be coming back. I'm Joe DeSario, co-owner of Freppy's Tex-Mex in Plainfield, New Jersey.
Hey there, everybody. This is Scott Tanker, host of Lunch with the Boss on RadioVisionNetwork.com. I want you to visit me each and every Thursday from 12:30 to 1 o'clock, where we have special guests talking about the dynamics between employees and employers. We talk about their business. We let our audience know, that's you folks, what these businesses are all about and how we can make the working environment better, while at the same time learning about local businesses here in the Delaware Valley. So, I'm host of Lunch with the Boss. My name is Scott Tanker. I want to see you here every Thursday from 12:30 to 1 o'clock. Be there or be square. Thanks a lot.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Well, welcome back. back. I'm Keith Reynolds, host of Morning Coffee. I'm here with my show co-hosts, Charlene Chamberlain.
And Kristin Battestella.
And we were talking vampires in July.
Can't get any hotter than that.
Yeah, I mean, and we just started, we started kind of getting into the modern vampire movies. Like you said, or series, Buffy the Vampire, stuff
Love
like
that
that.
show.
And before we go a little bit further, what was the Forever Night?
Oh, this one.
Because that was, I didn't hear what you said.
Was that the 90s?
That,
When did that
that was in the 90s,
Yeah.
and I think that was, he was a crime fighter.
He was a detective.
He was a detective, I do remember.
Working the night shift, of
Right.
course.
Of course, right.
It was one of those, I think it might have been like a part Canadian show, where it was one of those syndicated at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
It is available on Hulu. Some of these box sets are a little tough to find, but just a cute little show. There's only like 3 or 4 major characters. And yeah, the hang-ups. Interesting little combination again. I guess you don't normally think of the same, detective, rinse, repeat, but add a little supernatural spin.
Right.
So this was a good one. Yeah. I didn't bring all the Buffy stuff.
And you know what? There was one episode of a vampire, but I'll never forget. We were talking like a couple weeks ago about night things coming on late night. The Night Stalker used to come on at 11:30.
Right.
Yeah, Cold Shack. And I remember the one vampire episode. I think that was like originally started that.
There was a TV movie. Dan Curtis, the man who did Dark Shadows, he did a couple little TV shows like that where they made little mini-series episodes that never quite took off.
Yeah.
And I guess in the 70s there was a lot of that, and then there seemed to be kind of a lull, and then it kind of came back.
Yeah.
I guess late
again.
90s, it's coming back.
So now Angel, which is a
the spin-off of Buffy.
Buffy,
Right.
which I like.
We've been
It was
watching
okay.
Buffy again at home. It's on Hulu and Netflix, which is nice. And the first couple seasons, I guess, are maybe showing their wear 90s clothes and fashions and all. But that just, the idea that you can still kind of grow with it. It's high school's the monster, college is the monster, life is the trouble. So that's something, I guess, maybe younger kids that are more aware now are segueing out of something different. They want something a little more serious. There's enough different characters, not just vampires and spin. And then Angels is a little more sophisticated.
Yeah.
So that's nice. And they do have several different types of box sets like this, and collectors and smaller editions. So there's plenty of opportunity to be able to see something, which is nice.
And then Underworld, I see you have
Yeah,
Underworld, the movie,
you saw
which I love.
your gals.
Underworld.
We were discussing. I only brought the first 2. I like that they're more action horror.
Yes.
Then they kind of tapered off, and I think they're still working on another one. These are Kate Beckinsale. Ron and Mitra, I think is in the third one. They were good. Fun.
They were good. I love the fight scenes. They were different.
It's one of those. We laugh at vampires being so prevalent and being everywhere, but they always do kind of lead their way. Now there was a phase where now everything was kind of an action shoot 'em up kind of vampire mashup.
Right.
Penny Dreadful is on TV as well. They just wrapped up their 2nd season. Their 1st season had a little vampire storyline, but it's Frankenstein. There's a werewolf. So there's different like psychics and witches. So it's a whole sort of mashup of everything scary going on.
I mean, even True Blood. I mean, and I think
Vampire
was
I used to watch that.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it all. I didn't watch the last
Didn't watch it
show
all the
because
way through, but
no, I didn't watch the last show because I just was angry because I was like, that was such a great show. Why end it? And you know what? I think they running out of ideas. I don't think you're running out of ideas.
It was based on books too.
Yeah, it was based on books too as well. And that you're right. That's probably the problem, but. I felt that like the vampire was almost like the top of the food chain always in the monster world, and True Blood kind of gave him some vulnerability, stuff like that. They
made it a little more human.
They loved, and stuff. I just thought that was really good.
That's true. I think some people get the impression that it's all bloods and gluts and glory, and no, that's the thing that I like about good horror. We were talking about Only Lovers Left Alive still more, where it's more about the social kind of commentary aspects, where it is a little serious, it is a little heavy, and it says things what are going on that we can't talk about, that we express through our fears and desires. So it's escapism, but it's a little healthy kind of flight versus flight fear.
Well, one of my favorite movies is Ginger Snaps.
Ginger Snaps, werewolves.
Love those movies.
But you know what? Also with the vampire too is that I think that they adapt to what happens to them in life. No one's born a vampire, so they're made a vampire, and it could be at any age. So it's almost like kind of overcoming something, you know, to where they're learning how to live a certain way. It's really weird. But I just love that.
Well, it was, you know, real world kind of natural fears. They're still digging up bodies where they're finding where people were actually impaled and had stones, you know, buried upon them to weigh them down. You know, I love some of those old 70s kind of, my French is bad, Jean Rollin horror movies, and there's a bunch of box sets like this that you can always get that have a bunch of like low budget foreign kind of horror movies in them. And you know, I mean, I wouldn't pay like more than $10 for these. I mean, even if you're getting 50 or 100 movies, a lot of them are kind of low budget.
Yeah.
And but you can see how sometimes the way they have like the ritual and the fear and how people believe.
Well, that ritual creates the fear.
Right, exactly,
You know?
exactly.
And that's what I love, you know, when we can express that through movies and TV. And have a laugh sometimes.
I think we have to take a quick commercial
We have
break.
to take a quick commercial break because we got our next guest coming on. We want to thank Kristin for coming in. You can see Kristin here every Friday. Comes in and gives us a little review on some things. And if you have any suggestions, as far as you know, maybe something that Kristin a topic she can touch on,
or something you'd like
or
to
something
hear
you'd
about.
like, just send it at info@Radio Vision Network, and we'll get it to her, and then she can have a couple weeks to set up. All right, so we're right back with our next morning coffee guest.
Here, we have an attractive orange